going to go back to the origins on the stadium thing, just as a little background. In 2014, I filed an ethics complaint against the Board of Commissioners, and it was based upon a requirement in the Cobb County Ethics Code that the elected officials are to follow the law in the conduct of their official duties. And it was my view that when they created the special districts around the stadium, it included a $3 a night hotel fee and the extra ad valorem tax on some properties but not others, that they had not followed the law, because there's no basis in law for either one of those things. The ethics complaint, like the Supreme Court case, turned out to be not successful. And like the Supreme Court case, when you get into it and try to follow it to ground, you will discover that there's no real logic behind the conduct of the ethics board at the time. They've made some changes since then, so I'll give the benefit of the doubt going forward. But because of that, what really triggered it was I had prior experience with the CIDs, the Cumberland Community Improvement District, Town Center Area Community Improvement District. And I had a pretty good familiarity with the laws that affect them and under which they're created and exist. And I already knew what basically they could and could not do. And when the county came forward with these special districts, they were saying that they are going to follow the map of the CID. Now, wait a minute, you can't really do that, because the CIDs live and die. I mean, they exist under specific section of code and specific sections of even the Constitution. There's like pages in the Constitution on CIDs. That's how detailed it is. And trying to make this part of the CIDs, they even had the CID board vote to approve it, and they have no such power. It was totally inappropriate to even mention the CIDs in that conversation. So I had some background on it, and I felt then it was illegal. I still feel it was illegal then. And since then, it has come forward, and we've had the creation of the South Cobb Redevelopment Authority, which is a replacement for an earlier South Cobb Redevelopment Authority that just kind of went defunct because it didn't do anything. And in the South Cobb Redevelopment Authority, they have followed the same template as they did in the stadium financing to issue bonds. They've issued $10 million in bonds and handed the $10 million over to the authority to spend to cheer people up in South Cobb is the best way I know to describe it. There's not really a lot of strings attached. But they use the same template in terms of justifying it, where the county will pay money to the authority and the authority issues the bonds, and therefore, since the county's not issuing the bonds, it's not a debt as prohibited by the Constitution. And that's just a little bit of shorthand of how it works. The county say we're not paying interest on bonds, we're paying the authority, and that's not really a debt. And that's the kind of thing the court has proved over the years. So I complained about that too. And it's not because I just want to complain. I have a penchant for wanting people to follow the law. You know, my view is if the county government won't follow the law, why should anybody? And I'm afraid that's kind of the path that we're on right now. But anyway, in the stadium, we issued $368 million in bond debt. We created these special districts to collect money from hotels and motels. And it's because of their proximity to the stadium, we were told. But if you look at the map reaches way up north and reaches way down south and catches hotels in both areas. But there can be hotels that are literally across the street from the stadium that aren't involved. They don't pay the $3 a night fee because they weren't included in the special district, because they're in the city of Smyrna, city of Marietta. So we've got this anomaly here where we're saying we're going to charge one hotel $3 a night, or charge our customers $3 a night, and then we have others that are much closer even and won't be paying the same thing. So it's very unfair to the people who are involved. But that went forward, as did the property tax on the commercial properties. And they have differentiated. They only charge that property tax on commercial properties. They are not charging it on homes, owner-occupied homes, but they are charging it on apartments because the apartment owners agreed. Well, there's no provision in law to differentiate like that in taxation. In fact, there's a requirement in Georgia law for uniformity of taxation. And only where it's constitutionally permitted can distinctions be made in how property is taxed. Otherwise, any property in Cobb County can tax their property different from Lowndes County, but everybody in Cobb County is supposed to be taxed the same way, unless there's a specific constitutionally allowed reason not to. And we're completely off the map on these things currently. So we've done the South Cobb redevelopment thing, we've done the same thing, and now we've got a brand new one you may have seen in the newspaper over the last 3 weeks. They have created a new special district, and it's odd because it's 3 different chunks around the county. One of them's up in the northwest corner, one's down south, and one is somewhere up in the northeast corner. And there's no criteria about how these areas were designated. It's unclear on the maps I've seen. I've yet to see a map's got any street details, so you can even tell who's involved and who isn't. But they are called a special district now for a new hotel tax. And this new hotel tax is $3 a night, same as the hotels down by the stadium. And this money is now dedicated to fund the operation of the Tourism and Travel Bureau. They have a name, Convention and Visitors Bureau, they call that in Atlanta, but just say Tourism and Travel. It's a county department. And their mission, of course, is to promote tourism in Cobb County. And they're going to get the money out of this, so it'll be $4 or $5 million a year. And once again, alarms go off because I say, wait a minute, this is the same thing we've done around the stadium that I said was illegal. It's the same thing we've done in South Cobb that I said was illegal. And sure enough, I'm pretty sure it's illegal here too. But even worse, the hotel owners began to pay attention. And an organization, if you live in Cobb County, you probably got one of these flyers in the mail last week about what the Cobb County Republican commissioners are doing. That was actually put out by the national organization of the Asian American Hotel Owners Association. And Asian American includes Indian and South Asian people, which is a preponderance of and about 50 or 60 of these hotel owners showed up at the commission meeting the other night because they're protesting. If you own a hotel and you're into the lower end of the price range, adding a fixed fee is a high percentage of your total selling price of your room rental. And these guys calculated that the low-end hotels, that the budget hotels that a lot of people rely on, and some people rely on those budget hotels for a place to live, the total tax bill, 4% sales tax statewide, the SPLOST tax for the county, SPLOST tax for the school district, the $5 a night fee that was just added by the legislature last year, and then a $3 a night fee, they're up to, I think they said 48% of what they will charge a customer is taxes. It makes Cobb County the highest tax rate in the state, if not the country, for a budget hotel. And it falls hardest on the people at the lower end of the economic scale who are most likely to frequent those places. So they're unhappy, and the commission did decline to vote on it the other night. They decided they're going to give it 30 more days for evaluation. But I don't think they can't evaluate it long enough to make it legal, in my opinion.